Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, Sumo fans. I'm Vini and this is Sumo Files. And today I'm going to talk about day 14 of the Kyushu Basho. But before we dive in, a quick note about yesterday's slip-up. In the rush of things, I completely forgot to mention that Fujinokawa and Abi's bout had been reset due to a mata from the Issei no Umi man. I had even planned a dumb joke about the sumo gods giving Abi a second chance after the Hanka, but I simply forgot to add the files on the editing software. Let this be a lesson for everyone. Sometimes when you try to be a clown, you end up getting clowned. Anyway, speaking of Fujinokawa, he earned a clean Sukui Nage win over Asakuryu, showing once again how sharp his timing is in this tournament. He opened by trying to force Asakuryu's left arm downward, and the moment he felt resistance, he switched immediately to the opposite angle, binding his right shoulder. That gave him all the leverage he needed, finishing the throw with total precision. It was another beautiful win from the Issei no Umi man, who now heads into Senshūraku chasing double digits. As for Asakuryu, he also fights on the final day, but with a much heavier weight on his shoulders, standing at 7-7. Yamamoto took a well-earned Hatake Komi over Yoshinofuji, becoming just the 4th man of the tournament to reach 10 wins. Yoshinofuji opened by trying to slip into Morozashi, but Yamamoto lost his own left arm in the clash and pressed the Isegahama man's face with his right. That gave Yoshinofuji the opening to try a Hatake Komi, and after it failed, he closed distance and attempted a Tsuki Otoshi instead. Yamamoto absorbed everything, survived the storm, and pushed forward until the match turned into a pure show fest. He then tried a Sokubi Otoshi, pivoted slightly to the left, and finally finished his opponent with a sharp Hatake Komi. Even defeated, Yoshinofuji will still chase his 10th win tomorrow, sitting at 9-5. Ura surpassed Tobizaru by Yoshidashi, capping off a long, exhausting match that demanded every bit of creativity he had. The Kisei man began in his signature low stance as both wrestlers extended and deflected each other's arms. And when Tobizaru tried to take the lead, Ura countered and nearly sent him to the clay right there. The Oitekaze man stayed alive, pushed forward with straight arms, and even drove Ura to the Tawara, where he held on thanks to his Hanmi stance. Under pressure, Ura regrouped, popped Tobizaru's left arm upward, returned to center, and even attempted a leg entry attack that didn't land. Tobizaru regained control and nearly toppled him with a blow to the arm and head, but Ura grabbed that left hand again, forcing a full reset. After both men took a brief pause to assess each other, Tobizaru slapped him, but Ura didn't bite. He went for the knee again, held the elbows to create an opening, charged forward with everything he had, survived a final slapdown attempt, and finally pushed Tobizaru out. That gave him his 8th win and handed Tobizaru his 8th loss. So yeah, no wonder it was such a tough bout, as the stakes were simply too high. Kirishima delivered a decisive Watenage against Toki Hayate, marking his 10th win and strengthening his bid to return to the Sanyaku ranks. He opened by aiming his left hand at the neck while targeting the Maemitsu with the right, and though Toki Hayate fought hard to break the hold, successfully at first, the Otowayama man simply shifted into Migi-Yotsu as his opponent secured Hidari-Yotsu. From that moment, Kirishima pressed forward without hesitation and closed the match with a powerful Watenage. Toki Hayate now suffers his 2nd straight loss, but still has a chance to reach 10 wins tomorrow. Wakamoto Haru secured his Yorikiri victory over Midorifuji in a bout defined by long stretches of stalemate. Both men aimed for the Mawashi at the Tachi-Ai, and both immediately denied the other's grip, freezing the match for the first time for about 15 seconds. Wakamoto Haru broke the silence with a Katasukashi attempt, and Midorifuji, practically the co-owner of this technique, resisted it, leading both wrestlers to lock up again as the match stalled for a 2nd time. After another long pause, Wakamoto Haru broke the grip and tries to force Midorifuji out, but when that failed and they locked up yet again, the match entered a 3rd stalemate. Only after another stretch did the Arashio man decide he had seen enough, pushing with full force until Midorifuji was marched out. in a way that mirrored the Tobizaru Ura match. Wakamoto Haru clinched his Kachikoshi, while Midorifuji fell to Makekoshi for the second straight Basho. Takayasu claimed a hard-earned Yoshidashi against Atami Fuji, continuing his late tournament turnaround and keeping himself alive at 7-7. Both men opened with a Kachiage, but Takayasu had his left arm trapped and was driven straight to the Tawara. The Komusubi finally slipped free, secured an outside left grip, spun Atami Fuji around, released the hold, and switched to body pressure to complete the push-out. The middle of the tournament was brutal for Takayasu, but he's turning it around right at the end, and with Atami Fuji also at 7-7, now with 3 straight losses, both wrestlers face high-stakes matches on Senshūraku. Kotozakura produced a massive Yorikiri to defeat Onosato, earning his Kachikoshi and throwing the championship race into chaos. Right after the Kachiage, he briefly aimed at the Yokozuna's neck, but quickly changed plans and went for the left-hand Mawashi grip, even trying a Sukubi Otoshi along the way. Though that didn't land, he managed to secure both sides of the Mawashi, while Onosato only kept control on the left. That difference gave the Ozeki all the momentum he needed, and once he began driving forward, the Yokozuna, unable to break free, was pushed out cleanly. It was a gigantic win not only for his record, but also for the storyline, as it reopened the possibility of a chaotic ending, especially if Aonishiki could defeat Hoshoryu, which is exactly what happened. And with a stunning Oshidashi, he kept himself firmly in the title hunt, sending the Basho into absolute mayhem. Aonishiki began by extending his arms to break the Yokozuna's charge, leaving Hoshoryu exposed in the process. The sekiwake went straight for the neck, survived a Sukubi Otoshi counter, secures the Mawashi with his left hand, and delivers the finishing blow to the Yokozuna's upper body, sending him out. It was simply incredible, a win built on preparation, study, and perfect execution. And just like that, chaos reigns supreme. While a triple playoff is no longer possible, the final day remains scorching hot. Aonishiki will face Kotozakura, and if he loses, his title hopes vanish instantly. But if he wins, he'll take on the winner of Onosato vs Hoshoryu in a final playoff. As for those two, the math is simple. If Aonishiki wins, the victor between Onosato and Hoshoryu join him in a playoff. If Aonishiki loses, the winner of the Yokozuna Showdown takes the Emperor's Cup outright. What a final day this will be, the perfect closing chapter to an incredible tournament. Now to finish things off, here are the results of the 14th day of the tournament, and also the bouts we'll see tomorrow. In addition, here's the updated table for the yusho race. And if you enjoyed this coverage, consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel and turning on notifications so you don't miss any future content. That's it guys, until next time!